Welcome to another edition of Clan Chat. Aaron Murphy alongside the new goalie for the Glasgow Clan, Sami Aittokallio. We're delighted to have you from Finland. We're both busy. There's school pickups. There's lots going on. But right off the bat, I wanted to welcome you to Glasgow and ask you, are you excited? I mean, it's only June, but are you already excited about the new season?
Yeah, of course. Like every time there's a new season coming, and especially when there's a new team, uh, it's exciting. Like obviously, I don't know a lot about the league or the team, but still, uh, excited to start the season and already starting to prepare.
Well, that's a good starting point. I mean, you made the choice. Obviously, Corey Nielsen was really excited. You were one of his key sort of names on the whiteboard when he started the recruitment. How were the conversations with head coach Corey Nielsen, and what kind of intrigued you about the Glasgow Clan?
Um, he told me about the city and about the team a little bit. Uh, Nothing special, just like basic stuff. Then I obviously did my own research about the leagues, talked to some players who have played there before, and yeah, it started to feel like good option for me and for our family as well. So yeah, it was in the end it was pretty easy decision.
That's an interesting point too, because I've talked to Braden Burke, I've talked to some of your new teammates on Clan Chat already, and it is a big thing to talk to players that have played in the league, or talk to guys like a Devin Sidoroff or a Braden Burke, perhaps that are coming back, a Mitchell Hurd. When you talk to colleagues, I mean, you want to know about things like schools and all that, but also you want to know about the league. So when you reach out to other players, what are the kind of questions you like to ask?
About the daily life, how everything is handled, and then obviously how's the league, what's the level, what can I expect, what type of game is played there, because that obviously is a lot different in different leagues. So yeah, just all the basic stuff, but I feel like my main focus was how are the days after the ice hockey, like how is the living.
Yeah, and certainly we were joking off camera there with families and stuff. You had to take all that in consideration, right? Because as you get older and you have kids, that's a big part of your career and your support system, right? It's important that everyone's happy so that you can go and make a lot of saves.
Absolutely, yeah. I have two kids, 5 and 3 year olds. So the other one is starting school, and the other one is still in daycare. And obviously, we need to figure out how that is gonna work out when I sign with new teams, because it's not possible that they are staying at home 24/7. They need to have their stuff figured out as well. And like you said, when they are happy, it's easier at home, and it's easier to focus on the main thing, that's ice hockey.
Think back to 2010. You're a young guy. You're still a young guy, but think back to 2010 and the Colorado Avalanche call your name, 107th overall. I mean, is that a dream you had growing up? What was your dream when you were a young goalie? Was it to play in the Finnish Liiga? Was it to represent Finland at a World Juniors? Was it to play in the National Hockey League?
uh I feel like, well, obviously when I was kid we didn't have internet or anything, so we couldn't see all the NHL games that much, but like there was some Saturday morning highlight clips and everything coming from the news, and like I think it was NHL Today show that they showed in Finland. So I used to watch that as well. So yeah, the NHL was kind of a dream, but I feel like the Finnish league was the main thing. And then obviously when I grew older and NHL kind of came closer to us, when the internet and everything started to work a little bit better, um, it became like reality. Okay, this might be uh, possible. And then I feel like the NHL was the biggest dream when I was growing up.
So was that your draft day? Was that surreal to hear your name called 107th overall, or was it kind of your agent and your support system told you, okay, look, the Avalanche might pick you, or was it a surprise out of left field?
Uh, I had ideas. Some like there was 2 or 3 teams that I talked to a little bit more than the others. So I knew they had interest, and probably I'm gonna get drafted by one of those teams. But yeah, then when it happened, my agent called me, and then the team called me a little bit later, and it wasn't like obviously it was a big thing to get drafted, but it was only the first step. And like I knew at that time that like it doesn't mean anything to get drafted. Then the work actually starts. Like you got to prove you are able to go there and play at the high level, and I feel like that was the starting point.
And you certainly have proved yourself and played at the highest level. You did play in the National Hockey League. You had a stellar record in the American Hockey League as well, with a 904 save percentage over the time there, the DEL, and certainly the Finnish Liiga. But I wanted to ask you about your youth development, because at the Clan, we started a youth academy to try and bring young Scottish players along, and try and develop players for the Clan 10, 12, 15 years down the line. But you had a great start in youth hockey with Ilves, and certainly you would have had some great coaching and some great sort of support systems along the way, playing underage hockey for Ilves.
Yeah, I feel like Finland was ahead of time at that time. We had goalie coaches from really young ages. I think I got my first goalie coach when I was maybe like 10, 11 years old.
Wow.
So that obviously helps a lot, because then we are doing the right things and building the good habits from in the practice. And you do that 10 years in a row, it's going to show up. So I feel like Finland was ahead at that time. Now it's pretty much all over the world when the goalie coaches start to do their job at the young ages too.
That's a great point, because around that time was the real boom, the Mika Kiprasovs, the Tuukka Rasks, and there was some top level Finnish goalies on NHL rosters now, because it had been like sort of a French Canadian thing, and then all of a sudden it came along this boom of Finnish goalies. Who was your favorite goalie to watch growing up? Who did you kind of emulate your game on?
We had good ones in Tampere or from Tampere that played in NHL, like Vesa Toskala, and then of course Mika Kiprasov was one of my favorites. And then a little bit later, Tuukka Rask was probably the best one from Finland for a long time. And I feel like those guys were the main guys I tried to look at and copy a little bit and try myself what works for me.
Yeah, 2 U's, 2 K's, 2 points, famous in Boston, Tuukka Rask. You mentioned Vesatosco there, great shark, great Leaf, but I remember covering the Leafs as a younger man, and I don't think I've ever seen a better dressed NHL player than Vesatosco. He was a stylish guy. And are you a stylish guy too, or are we going to see some fancy suits rock up to the Braehead Arena?
Probably not too much. I like to dress, but it's not the main thing.
I remember, yeah, he walked in, Vesatosco walked in, and the media were just like, this guy is the best dressed. He's a movie star. He was a good goalie as well. You mentioned Mika Kiprasov. I mean, that sort of era was phenomenal, and success. I mean, Tuukka won a cup with the Bruins and went to another couple of cup finals. Mika Kiprasov was unbelievable. So you had good role models growing up, and great coaching. And then it sort of seemed that you had some great opportunities internationally, because you represent Finland at U17s. I mean, you won a bronze at U18s for Finland, and your record at World Junior Championships, I believe you were well under 240 goals against average. I mean, unbelievable numbers internationally for Finland as an underager. Do you look back at that as really special times as well, wearing the Finnish jersey?
Oh yeah, of course. And there's a lot of good memories from that time, and a lot of good players I was able to play with too. So yeah, there's a lot of good memories, and I cherish those for forever.
Is there a player that you remember playing against and thinking the skill, like you're practicing with guys that are picking top corners and going on to be NHL players and international players themselves? But was there anyone at U17s or U18s or even at the World Juniors where you're like, I've got some incredible teammates here?
Well, there's a lot of players who play in the NHL right now, like Granlund, uh, Barca was with us at the end. even though he was like 16 and I was 19, so he was really underage at that time. But yeah, there's a lot of good guys who still play at the high level. A lot of those guys play in the NHL either right now or have played at some point. So the last under 20 team we had was really good. Like we were stacked, especially our forwards were really great.
I was going to ask you about Barkov because doing my research, I did see that you crossed paths. Because I asked Braden Burke about the Edmonton Oilers. He was in Edmonton. He was really hoping that Connor McDavid and the Oilers could get it done this time around. Are you cheering for Barkov and the Panthers? And were you like really happy to see him hoist the Stanley Cup last year?
I feel like I'm more on the Florida side. There's a little bit more Finnish guys, and some of I actually know. So yeah, a little bit more on the Florida side.
I mean, Barkov is probably one of the most underrated superstars. He does everything. He's physical. I mean, he is unbelievable. So you're watching him as a 16-year-old. Did you know, oh, this guy's going to be special at 16?
Yeah, you could see right away. Like obviously at that time he was a little bit shy, but also he's Finnish, so it kind of makes sense. We don't talk too much, but yeah, you were able to see that this guy is gonna be a superstar.
You've had a really interesting, and I think I've asked a few of your new teammates about this. Like, it's a really nice way to travel and see the world, isn't it? Professional hockey is a real privilege to play, and you've had some great stops in Germany, Czechia. I mean, Sparta, Prague. That's a great city, Prague. I mean, you've been in some of the world's great cities. Is there a city that you look back and go, one of my favorites, or is there sort of that hockey journey where you wake up and pinch yourself in the morning and go like, I get to play hockey and I get to see the world and bring my family along now? That's a real privilege.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think there's any place I played that is over the other, because we like to make the place we play at. We like to make it home. We find our own stuff that we like to do and own places where to go. And especially now with the kids, it's a lot different than let's say 10 years ago. So now the daily life, it's a lot different. So what we need is something for the kids and not that much for us. Like yeah, it's nice to have nice restaurants and everything, but how many times I'm able to go there? It's not going to be that many. So if there's nice playgrounds and stuff like that, then it's good.
Certainly, Glasgow is a beautiful place and a good place to raise a family. You talk about bringing pedigree, whether it's playing at the World Juniors or playing in the NHL and the American Hockey League. You've also bring a championship pedigree because a big title with HK Nitra in 2024. Talk about that and winning a championship and how great that feels as a goalie.
Uh, that year has been probably one of my best ones. Like game wise and obviously when we won the championship, that was unreal. When I actually joined the team pretty late, it was at the end of November if I remember right. So I wasn't there from the beginning. And we were, I would say, below the half or below the, how would I say it? I don't know, like around the pre-playoff spot. So we were not supposed to win anything that year. But when I joined the team and I saw how they play, we had really good forwards. We got some nice additions to the defense, and after I would say like 10 games, I felt like this team might have it. If we just figure out a few things, we might be able to win the championship. And when the playoffs started, we had pretty rough patch behind us. Like last, let's say 10 games were not the best we played. But then during the pre-playoffs, we figured it out, and from there on, I feel like the whole team had the feeling like we're gonna do it. No one's gonna win us.
That's such an important thing in the locker room too, and it takes great leadership, doesn't it, to go, okay, we get a new goalie. Sami comes in here, and we were in a playoff spot, but then we get going and we start to figure a few things out. When you look at leadership and picking a new team, were you sort of intrigued at who had already signed in Glasgow, the likes of Mitchell Hurd and Devin Sidoroff? Was that a factor for you as well? Because you're looking at it going, well, if I go somewhere, it needs to be a good city for the family, but I also want a chance to win and play with good leaders.
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm still young, but hockey years, there's not too many left. So last years I have left, I really want to play for the championship. I don't want to waste my time playing for the bottom two teams. So yeah, it was a big factor for sure.
You're only 32. You certainly have many years left. Don't talk like you're in your 40s or your 50s. I mean, 32. A lot of goalies too. Goalies, you look at even Tuukka. I mean, in their 30s, goalies seem to get a little bit more experience, a little bit more calm in net. Can you tell the Purple Army, the Glasgow Clan fan base, what kind of goalie are you? Like, talk about your technical attributes and your calm demeanor. Tell the Purple Army what kind of goalie you'll be this season.
Usually I'm pretty calm in the net. You don't see me overplay that much, so I don't really chase the puck that much. I'm usually uh, behind and pretty balanced. So I hardly ever need to make like big flashy saves because I'm pretty well positioned, and it's not easy to how would I say it? Like, because I read the play so well, it's hard to see me give up those like empty back doors or anything like that. So yeah,
So
pretty calm goalie.
you're
Hopefully.
playing the angles, playing the percentages. I mean, it's incredible to me that you had your first goalie coach at 10 years of age, and it speaks to development and how important that is. When you look around the EIHL and you do your own research, you can see it truly is a multicultural league. There's Canadians, Americans, Finns, Swedish players. I mean, you come here and you have an opportunity to do something special with a new team. So talk about your preparation. What does a day look like in training now and in working out as you prepare for September and October and your first season in Glasgow? So what does it look like? You're off ice and on ice training this summer.
So right now I'm doing off ice. I will go to the ice maybe in June, I would say. No, July. Uh, so right now it's kind of like prepare phase. It's going to be 3 weeks long, and this is the last week. Kind of make the body ready for the higher volume and a little bit more intense training. Then the next 4 weeks going to be a lot of biking or running, gym, all that kind of stuff, conditioning. And then when I start to go on the ice, that kind of limits how much I can do because obviously I don't want to stress my body too much, so there's not going to be any stupid injuries or anything like that. But yeah, just gotta make the body ready for the season. And closer we go to the season, I feel like the training gets a little bit more intense and prepares me for the volume on the ice and from the games as well.
Is there a group of guys that you like to skate with in the summer, like ex-pros, current pros? Is there a good group of pro skates in the area and you're living that you kind of, when you get on the ice in July, it's sort of regimented. It's the same group, and you've been doing it for a few years.
Yeah, it changes sometimes, but there's a lot of players from Tampere where I live, so yeah, it's not hard to find guys to go to skate. And also there is a group I've been skating the last few summers that are playing either somewhere in Europe other than Finland or in the NHL, AHL. So usually I'm with that group, and there's a lot of good guys skating in that group.
And I've got fond memories of the Nokia Arena in your neck of the woods because Great Britain played at that World Championship, and what a facility there! I mean, the facilities in Finland are wonderful anyway. But like when you walk into a place like Nokia Arena, you see just the technology and just what a state of the art facility. I mean, and certainly your boyhood team, your youth team, Ilves shares that building, so that must be a cool place to walk into and sort of think back to being a youth for that club.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to play there, but I went to watch a couple games. I think it was uh, last year before I signed with Nitra. I had some free time at the moment, so I was able to go watch some Liiga games. And yeah, that place is awesome, and the fans in Tampere are also really good for the both teams. So the atmosphere at that arena is really nice.
It's beautiful. It's one of the nicest facilities I've ever had the pleasure of working in. And speaking of Great Britain, one of your teammates, Lucas Bryan, is in the Great Britain setup, and they just won a Division 1A gold medal in Romania. So they're going to be going back up to the top flight to play the likes of Canada and Finland, or whichever way the groups work out. I think they are going to play Canada in their group. But have you kind of looked at Lucas and know that he's going to be a teammate to you? And is it neat to know that you're going to have a goalie partner a little bit younger that maybe you can help and certainly give some tips to?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been planning to become a goalie coach at some point too, so I'm preparing for that phase. And yeah, obviously on the ice or off the ice, especially any tips I can give, I will.
No, that'll be great to hear. Lucas is a very skilled young guy who will love working with your experience. I asked you to kind of tell the Purple Army, the fan base, what kind of player you are, but the fans are a passionate and knowledgeable group in Braehead, and our arena on a Saturday night when things are going well, it absolutely gets rocking. I think you're going to really enjoy the fans and the atmosphere. But because it's a social media world and people like to hear from the players, do you have a message for the fans? About the upcoming season, about your excitement and all that. Do you have a message for the Purple Army?
Just let's make the home arena hard for the other guys.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It is a fortress. I think you'll enjoy it, and there's improvements being made in the building all the time. There's a brand new ice plant in there. There's a brand new jumbotron, a brand new dress room. So lots going on, and a big part of that is you, Sammy. We're delighted to have you as part of the roster for this upcoming season. It's been a delight to talk to you. I know you've got to go and pick up kids. I think I've got to do the same here this afternoon. So thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Clan Chat, and I really look forward to meeting you in person real soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.